38. Now, because the system of the experience of spirit embraces only the appearance of spirit, the advance from this system to the science of the true in its true shape seems to be merely negative, and one might wish to be spared the negative as something false, and demand to be led to the truth without more ado. Why bother with the false? The view already discussed, namely that we should begin with science straight away, is to be answered at this point by examining the nature of the negative in general regarded as what is false. This is a topic regarding which established ideas notably obstruct the approach to truth. It will give us occasion to speak of mathematical cognition, which unphilosophical knowledge regards as the ideal that philosophy must strive to attain, though it has so far striven in vain. 39. True and false belong among these determinate notions which are held to be inert and wholly separate essences, one here and one there, each standing fixed and isolated from the other, with which it has nothing in common. Against this view, it must be maintained that truth is not a minted coin that can be given and pocketed ready-made. Nor is there such a thing as the false, any more than there is something evil. The evil and the false, to be sure, are not as bad as the devil, for in the devil they are even made into a particular subjective agent. As the false and the evil, they are mere universals, though each has its own essence as against the other. The false, for here it is only of this that we speak, would be the other, the negative of the substance, which as the content of knowledge is the true. But the substance is itself essentially the negative, partly as a distinction and determination of the content, and partly as a simple distinguishing, that is, as self and knowledge in general. One can, of course, know something falsely. To know something falsely means that there is a disparity between knowledge and its substance. But this very disparity is the process of distinguishing in general, which is an essential moment in knowing. Out of this distinguishing, of course, comes their identity, and this resultant identity is the truth. But it is not truth as if the disparity had been thrown away like dross from pure metal, not even like the tool which remains separate from the finished vessel. Disparity, rather, as the negative, the self, is itself still directly present in the true as such. Yet we cannot therefore say that the false is a moment of the true, let alone a component part of it. To say that in every falsehood there is a grain of truth is to treat the two like oil and water, which cannot be mixed and are only externally combined. It is precisely on account of the importance of designating the moment of complete otherness that the terms true and false must no longer be used where such otherness has been annulled. Just as the talk of the unity of subject and object, of finite and infinite, of being and thought, etc., is inept, since object and subject, etc., signify what they are outside of their unity, and since in their unity they are not meant to be what their expression says they are, just so the false is no longer, qua false, a moment of truth. 40. Dogmatism is a way of thinking, whether in ordinary knowing or in the study of philosophy, is nothing else but the opinion that the true consists in a proposition which is a fixed result or which is immediately known. To such questions as, when was Caesar born, or how many feet were there in a stadium, etc., a clear-cut answer ought to be given, just as it is definitely true that the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares on the other two sides of a right-angled triangle. But the nature of a so-called truth of that kind is different from the nature of philosophical truths. 21. As regards historical truths, to mention these briefly, it will be readily granted that so far as their pure historical aspect is considered, they are concerned with a particular existence, with the contingent and arbitrary aspects of a given content, which have no necessity. But even such plain truths are such as those just illustrated are not without the movement of self-consciousness. To cognize one of them, a good deal of comparison is called for. Books must be consulted, in some way other inquiry has to be made. Even an immediate intuition is held to have genuine value only when it is cognized as a fact along with its reasons, although it is probably only the bare result that we are supposed to be concerned about.